What's something an elementary school teacher told you that was totally incorrect? Also make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. I had a primary school teacher ask the class how many hours were in a day. I proudly put up my hand and said 24. She said no. So someone else said 12. She said no. Her answer was 8. There are 8 hours in a say. I still don't know whether she was trying to ask about a work school day, but asking 8-year-olds doesn't really clarify that, especially when she said in a day. Only logic in this I could think of is that she meant day as in daytime, the rest probably amounted to night, morning and evening. The higher you go up on a mountain the hotter it gets because you're getting closer to the sun. My 5th grade teacher. Had she ever seen a mountain? Did the snow cat not tip her off? I had a teacher try to tell the class that Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus were the only planets known to have rings. I raised my hand and added that Jupiter had rings too, but that they were so faint they were hard to see. She vehemently denied it. When I politely, yes, really, told her that I had just seen it in a book, she gave me detention for trying to correct her in front of the class. The next day, before class began, she approached me with an encyclopedia open to a page about Jupiter, and apologized. She told the class I was indeed right, and that it's important to listen and learn from people even when we think we are 100% right. One of the more wholesome moments I can remember from school in my youth. Did she rescind the detention, or otherwise make it up to you, if it was already served? Never forget it. In 4th grade we were learning about bats. And the teacher asked the class to name as many different types of bats as we could. I raised my hand and said vampire bats, and he said name only real ones please. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/vampire. They are real, and I knew it. But he made me feel like an ass. My mother was asked to name an animal. She said Tasmanian devil. She was told to name a real animal. She was in her 40s. I wish I remembered the context. She was a math teacher, and it was some kind of cross-platform team learning in service. 6th grade. Me. But what happens when you subtract a negative number from a negative number? Teacher, you can't do that. Wait, that's illegal in elementary school. That the moon emits light, just like the sun. As a nerdy kid interested in space I told her that it's actually reflecting the light of the sun, but she did not believe me. That teacher wasn't just incorrect, but also straight up stupid. I got sent to the principal's office for using the word plethora. The teacher thought it was a swear word. So did the principal. Edit. For those asking about a dictionary, yes, they looked it up. And there is some obscure, arcane definition that means a swelling of a body part. This, of course, is the only definition my teacher knew, not the extremely common one. What a plethora of idiots. That in a court of law we are guilty until proven innocent. She confidently told us that multiple times, pretty sure she got it backwards. Depends on the legal system in the country you are in. That George Washington Carver invented peanut butter. An understandable mistake to be honest, as GWC invented hundreds of peanut-based products. I'll never forget my year 2 teacher telling the class that crayon is the only word with the letter Y in the middle. Even as a child, I knew that was utter bollocks lol. Gotta say a prayer for that teacher. They may have a great crayon but mine is grayer. Just gonna hop on this box and connect with the doomslayer before I send this letter to the mayor. A student in my class asked why we call it the 20th century when the year was 19XX. The teacher explained that most likely that a long time ago, probably in the dark ages, they made a mistake in printing a calendar, but by the time it was noticed all the calendars had been made and sent out, so they just left it that way. I heard her say this and knew it was all kinds of bullshit, but I said nothing because I was a shy 4th grader and she was a hostile nun. That sounds like something Calvin's dad would say. Before the blood touches oxygen, it is blue. I don't know about you, but every time in school this was brought up, I'd say that's a myth. It's still red inside your body. At that moment 75% of the class would say Nunism. My mom is a nurse and she says it's blue, so apparently there's some terrible nurses out there too. I remember an elementary school teacher warning us to not accept apples on Halloween, cause some people put razor blades in them. I mean, well, didn't you see the big fat cut on the apple? To her credit, a lot of people believed, and still believe, that one and spread it as gospel. That when you get to middle school and high school, the teachers won't constantly remind you of assignments that are approaching their due dates, or hunt you down for missing assignments. You won't be able to use a calculator in real life university. I had to buy a new calculator because my regular one couldn't handle the type of shit they ask us to do with a calculator at uni. I went to a Catholic school and our mascot was the pelicans. They told us they chose the pelicans because when pelicans can't find enough food, the mother pelican will tear off pieces of her own flesh to feed her children. I learned as an adult that this is a complete myth. The pelican is the mascot of our school because cannibalism. Yeah, sounds legit. That I couldn't have blue eyes if my mom had brown eyes. Thus began a lifelong obsession with genetics so I could prove her an absolute fucking fool. Bless my mom's single recessive gene she passed to me. I missed the blonde but I'll take the blue eyes. Oh, I had the same problem. Wasn't told that, but for a long time as a kid I wondered if I was adopted. The fact that my oldest pick was of 1 year me didn't help. That white fire was the hottest fire. Everyone knows the hottest fire is that shit Dylan B. spit in. That Lincoln was the first American president. I told her she was wrong. It was Washington. And she snapped, saying, well, why do you know so much about American politics? It is pathetic. And all the other kids in my class started making fun of me for being stupid. Reasons why I hate rural Canada. I could almost forgive this if he was even one of the first 5, but number 16. Never start a sentence with because. Because of this rule, you will fail this English course. I teach high school. I had a student recently tell me that she was nervous that all the detentions she got at her old school because of being late to school would remain on her record. She was so relieved when I told her that they wouldn't. My parents were taught in school that there was a permanent record that followed you throughout life. This continued from school into employment in your adult life, akin to a criminal record. My mom, in particular, believed this well into adulthood. Middle school, not elementary, but my 6th grade science teacher told the class that sound travels faster than light because if a plane is flying overhead, you hear it before you see it. In hindsight, she was probably a little bit senile. You will need to write in cursive once you get to middle school and beyond. 7th grade teachers explicitly prohibited kids turning essays in written in cursive. Don't think I ever saw it in high school, college, or throughout my career except from older people. 3rd grade, you have to use cursive because you need it in 4th grade. Repeat for each grade until I get to 9th grade. 9th grade, stop writing in cursive, I can't read your chicken scratch. My name's pronunciation. 1st grade, first day of the year we all told our names, introductions, etc. My name is from a sea country and not even that difficult to say, just read differently than it's spelled. It's even monosyllable. My teacher screeched at me and told me it'll be pronounced the way it's phonetically spelled in English, which included swapping 2 middle letters for some reason. The other students went along with it and so did I. Even to this day I still introduce myself by that pronunciation except to people of my own race. In university I started getting people that wanted to pronounce it correctly, which was incredibly kind, and they sort of pointed out how messed up it was for that teacher to decide that for me. That there was no such thing as a black flower. She put a big X through my painting. Art can never be wrong, as it's not always supposed to be based on real things and facts. I had a religion teacher tell us that humans evolved simultaneously across the world at the same time. This was proof of miracle. I insisted we all came from Africa and then spread out. People are going to offer you drugs disguised as candy at the park. Just say no. 20 years later and I still haven't been offered drugs at the park. Songs like "You Just Haven't Found the Right Park." I live in Germany and my teacher told us poor third graders who knew little to no English and sex ed that sex by definition means abusing someone. I think about that a lot and I still have no idea why she would tell us that. That a lot should be allet. I always got that red pen underline bringing them together and lost marks. I'll never let that go. Never submit, never surrender. That I won't always have a calculator in my pocket. Fucking liar. Sadly I still see people who can't do math properly even with a calculator. You shouldn't write Christmas instead of Christmas because you're Xing out Christ. The X is really the Greek letter Chi, which is the first letter in the Greek word for Christ. Not many people know this, but the USA bombed Pearl Harbor. We're Canadian, but still, an adult should know better. It was an inside job. That you can't have thunder and lightning at the same time as a tornado. Got marks taken off a drawing for that. In junior high I had a social studies teacher that told a story of her friend who got a raise and ended up taking home less money because of the taxes. No wonder that myth is so prevalent in my province. That if I didn't learn my times tables I'd wind up a broke garbage man. Never learned then, but I'm a garbage man who made 6 figures last year. It's a necessary job that's critical to every single person in the country, just about. I'm always glad they pay the occupation like they should. I was told in no uncertain terms that the match in shape between Africa and South America was coincidental. Edit, that is to say, the match between the western coastline of Africa and the eastern coastline of South America. Depending upon how old you are, this was actually scientific dogma. The adoption of continental drift was not axiomatic in geophysical publications until the late 60s and AMP, probably in teachers not until a decade after that. Christopher Columbus proved the earth was round. We all laughed at him when he said that. That I could avoid a nuclear blast by hiding beneath my school desk. Silly woman. I saw a movie about this, and now I know to climb into a refrigerator instead. We've replaced that with lock the door, turn off the lights, be completely silent, and maybe the shooter will skip your room and you won't get shot. That you're supposed to start every word with a capital letter. I have seen people do that. I am not sure as to why. Seems annoying. Like putting clap emojis. The sun was on fire. That middle and high school teachers were super strict and wouldn't put up with any of our BS because they would put everything on our permanent record. The ash at Pompeii sealed everything up so well that bakers' ovens were found containing bread that was still fresh enough to eat. Yeah, no. The very idea is completely preposterous. That 99s is 83. Which she then went on to prove, to her own satisfaction, using a snakes and ladders board. This was a teacher? Not some random lunatic who fancied giving it a go, School of Rock style? That it's weird that you can write with both hands. Pick one and stick with it. I could have had horrible chicken scratch handwriting with both hands instead of just one. For that I'll never forgive my kindergarten teacher. My elementary school teacher told me I couldn't be Spider-Man when I grew up because he wasn't real. Half of my career is working for Marvel. Live as Spider-Man officially, meeting kids and performing in shows. Suck it, Mrs. O'Data. She sounds like a Scottish robot. Science teacher in 4th grade told us it takes food 45 minutes to get to your stomach after swallowing. Spent an entire class period on it.